Hello everybody, welcome to my newest episode of my Python series, and today we're going to be talking about something that is very important for a lot of code in Python, and that is true or false statements. True or false statements happen, or cause code to happen whenever something is true or if it's false. The common way to use true or false statements is with variables. Like if we were to say that a fruit is indeed sweet, like an apple or something, then we could write it like is sweet is equal to true. We're setting a variable equal to true, and we could also set a variable is sour equal to false. Now, a way we could use this is we could write it like if something is true, then something else should happen. And so what we want to start with is if is sweet, the variable, if it is true, like if is sweet, then we want it to do something. So we press enter, and let's just say that we want it to print that fruit is sweet. By the way, this has to be indented so it knows that this line is actually a part of this if statement. So if we try to do this, then it will say the fruit is sweet. But we can also write it if not is sweet. And what that's going to do is that if it's not sweet, then it should do this. So we can say something like the fruit is not sweet. But what this is going to do is it's actually going to do nothing because the fruit is actually sweet, and so it can't do anything if it's not sweet, and so we have to program it to do something if that is not true. So if we do if not is sweet, typing everything back, you also need these two dots right here, or else it will give you an error message. So let's print out everything that we wanted before. If the fruit is not sweet, then we want it to say the fruit is not sweet. But if there is nothing that can make this code work, then we want an else statement, or an else addition, you could say. So basically, if the top statement is not true, then we want it to do something else. So we put dots again, and we say if the top statement is not true, then we can write the fruit is sweet. And what that is going to do is it's going to print out the fruit is sweet because is sweet is set to true. There are multiple ways to use this, including with lists. So how about we set a variable z that has 3 different variables in it. How about we set it to computer, phone, and laptop. This is just for example. You can set this as anything. And then let's set another variable, the variable a, the phone. Well, variable is phone. So what we can actually do with an if statement is we can say if a in z. If the variable a is inside of the variable z, then we want this to be true because a is phone and phone is indeed inside the variable z, then this should be true. So how about we print out phone is in the list because the phone word is inside the list currently, and we can print that out, and it's true, so we'll print it out. There are other ways in order to use this also. So we do have is sweet and is sour. So how about we use those in one true or false statement? We can write if is sweet and is sour. So this will only count as a true statement if both of these are actually correct and true. If even one of them is not correct, then it will not print out anything. You could also use or if you want only one of them to be correct, but just for this example, we're just going to have and. So we could try to print this out, but it's not really going to do anything. But just to have an example, we could say that it is sweet and sour. But that's not going to do anything. So we want only one of them to be true, then it will print something else. And that's where we're going to use elif, which is basically we can set it so that if one thing is true and one thing isn't, then it will also print it out. So we could write if it is sweet and not is sour, and we can put more dots. By the way, I forgot that you have to actually go back one for this to count. If you leave it right here where it puts you normally, then it's not going to work. Then we want it to print out it is sweet but not sour. And what this is going to do is it's going to type out it is sweet but not sour. You could also have multiple things happen whenever an if statement is true. So we could type if is sweet, and then we could type print it is sweet. But we could also type out another statement saying like it is a fruit. And so what this is going to do is it's going to print out both at once. You could set an infinite amount of code to this if statement, and it could do all of the code that's inside it. But there is actually more to happen. We could also use this with numbers, saying that b is equal to 1 and c is equal to 1. And we could set that it to if b is c, meaning that they are basically the same thing, then you could type out b and c are equal. And it prints it out because b, which is 1, is equal to c. One more thing that we could do for the last thing is variable.isLower, which I actually showed a while back, but this is actually going to show as a true or false statement. So we could use this like if is sour is lower. Well, that didn't work. But yeah, I don't know what went wrong. But it should work normally. Maybe it doesn't work because of this underscore. How about we try that out? How about we put pants? How about we set a variable u equals to pants? Actually, it might also be because this is not a string. So we could set that, and then we can set u is lower. That will equal to true because pants is all lowercase. And so we could actually use this in a variable, something like if u is true. Actually, we would have to set that to is lower, but that is basically how you would do it. Like set u to, or another variable to this statement right here. And so like v equals u is lower, so that v would be true also. So that's a lot to do with that, and I'm going to have to cut it short for today. So, goodbye.